All right. Hello, hello, friends. We are getting this show going. We're going to get the Instagram stream going, so give it a second, everybody. We're going to get this one going. All right. Let's get this. All right. Hello, friends. We're just getting it going. Give it a second, folks. Welcome, welcome on this fine Thursday evening. We're going to get this one going, so this should be pretty good. Give it a second. There we go. Come on. There. No, absolutely not. That's how you get fired, sir. That's how you get fired, good sir. Not doing that. All right, everybody. We're going to get this show going, everybody. I'm just going to check the Discord peeps and we're going to get going. We got something kind of crazy we're doing today, so this should be a fun time. Hello, Googles. Cool. All right. So, all right, peeps, let's get this one going. So, what we are going to be doing today. What we're going to be doing today is we have a really cool modern Alps build today. So, this is going to be the Jacky Design Hippo TKL. This is a board that ran on a very limited group buy earlier this year. I think it ran in like January, February of this year, and I got this board in around August. They only made 120 of these units, and it's a really cool board, and I'm very thankful I got one. It's really, really adorable. So it's made by Jacky Design. He's kind of known for making these like really, really big, chunky, thick bezel keyboards, which is really cool. Jacky's based out of China, which is really cool. So a really cool designer that I really like. But kind of when I got this board, I just built it Cherry MX, and my friend Careless, who's a friend of the channel, he essentially said that he was working on a project to convert this board over to Alps. So he designed a special PCB for this particular keyboard, and then he designed a plate file for this particular board. So I got that plate file, and I had it sent over to Tom over at Hike Keyboards, and of course we had the plate manufactured. So we're gonna get this build going, and we're gonna kind of go over parts for keycaps. Of course, we're going with my favorite keycaps, FK 2001 keycaps. The switches we are going to be using are going to be some really special switches I did get from Careless, which are going to be really cool. These are going to be Alps SKCL Cream switches. These are going to be linear switches. So these are going to be really cool switches. These are about 30-ish years old or so. They're some pretty old switches, but there's some really, really good and some really special and clean ones. And of course, for stabilizers, we're going Alps pattern stabilizers. So let's just kind of jump into it. So we got to prepare the plate. So we have to get the plate out of the case. So that'll be a cool opportunity to kind of see how this board goes together. So if you're watching on Twitch or on Instagram, welcome, welcome, folks. It's always a good time. Always a good time, everyone. So let's pull off our rubber adhesive feet on this particular board, and we'll just kind of jump into this one. So this is a really cool board. It's called the Hippo. Jacky likes to theme his boards after animals. I have another one of Jacky's boards over here. This is my Hi-Ton 40. It's his little baby keyboard. You can see how just much. This board's gigantic, but it's so much smaller compared to the Hippo. So this one's called the Hi-Ton, and that's dolphin in Chinese. Jacky's a big animal fan, so he really likes, again, just naming and theming his boards after animals. So that's pretty cool. So really cool board. So we got 8 screws on the bottom. So let me get my screwdriver out, and we'll just kind of go from there, folks. So we're going to get this one going. Is that the right bit? Yep, that's the right bit. Sweet. So we'll get this one going. So let's get these screws out of here, and we'll get going. So we got 8 screws, and then this board basically will just pull apart. And it's kind of nice to kind of see the construction of this board and how everything goes together. This is if you want to see a more kind of in-depth overview of this board, check out my my Cherry MX build stream VOD on my YouTube channel. It's probably one of the earlier videos on the channel. And you'll be able to we'll really go in depth in this board and really kind of talk in great detail about this particular board and this particular project. So we're mainly going to be talking Alps today, but this is a really cool board, and Jacky's considering running an R2 of this. So this was a very limited group buy, and this was the kind of keyboard sale that if you missed it, you were just kind of SOL. You kind of had to jump on this keyboard sale when it happened earlier this year, because the people I know who have these are not giving them up, and I really haven't seen any of these come up for sale. So let's just kind of pull out the bottom portion of this case. There we go. There's our bottom portion. So yeah, it's just a top and a bottom case. So the bottom case is really cool because it does have these kind of lines, and those help with sound, and also does spell out hippo, which is really nice. So we're going to put our bottom case to the side, and then we're going to kind of see how everything kind of goes together in this thing. So we have kind of a modified top mount, which is really cool. So we got to pull out all these screws and pull out all these components. So we got a ton of screws, and we got these brackets we got to pull out holding the actual plate assembly in. So that's going to be cool. So got a really cool one for y'all today. So oops, dropped a screw. Give me a second. There we go. Yeah, we got a lot of cool builds coming up, folks. We got a bunch of retro builds. We got a client commission coming up that we got to do, which is going to be really awesome. So client builds are always fun. We got a bunch of personal builds and just restorations we're doing. So a lot of cool stuff coming up that'll definitely make for some cool content on here and let people kind of see some of the more crazy projects we're doing. So this is really cool. So we just got to get this plate out of here, and then we'll start mounting our hardware to it. But yeah, these also brackets that hold in the plate are also made out of aluminum. So this board kind of uses kind of like a hybrid top mount, which is pretty interesting. So Jacky over at Jacky Design definitely came up with a really kind of cool mounting system for this board. So yeah, this is a pretty good time, folks. So there we go. Awesome. So cool. Let's put our screws over to the side, and also let's move our let's take our mounting brackets as well, and just kind of chuck those to the side. We're not going to be using these till the very end. So perfect. And let's get our plate. So yeah, there's our top case. This case is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, this board is just a friggin' unit. So all right, here's our plate, folks. So I'm going to pull out these little silicone gaskets that go under the brackets, and then there's our plate. So that's pretty cool, pretty good. Put those to the side, and then there we go. So there is our plate. And it's kind of cute too. It has that little hippo cut out too, which is really nice. So really, really cute little design, which I think is a nice little touch that Carol's put on this plate. So yeah, this is our plates. It's just standard fare TKL. So we're going to get out our stabilizer parts, and we're going to mount some stuff to it. So it's going to be pretty cool, folks. So let me get all these parts out. Got a massive rat's nest of stuff we're getting out of here. There we go. All right, folks. So let's go through it, and let's start getting our parts. So let me get my little spudger tool. That's always going to make my life a little bit easier as we kind of assemble all of this. So let's get our wires. So we're just using 5 wires today. So we got our spacebar wire. We need our right shift wire. And then we need 3 2U wires. Perfect. So we're going to get these puppies for our stabilizers. And then we're going to get a bunch of, we're going to get 10 gray clips. That's what's going to clip into the bottom. Actually, we'll get the clips later. Let's do our clips that are going to clip our wires. So we're going to get 10 of those. So let's get these out. So we're getting all of our stabilizer components out of here. And then 2 more. Perfect. All right. Let's kind of push these over to the side. Cool. All right, let's push our little stabilizer clips in. And it's going to make it going. So we're going with this. Yeah, we built some cool stuff this Alps builds this week. We did the ETAR 8087 on Monday. On Tuesday, we did the Baron Boards BP1 with Orange Alps. So I have the BP1, the Alps BP1 over here. This thing is sick. Yeah, that board's sick. Friggin' love the BP1. That thing is awesome. So, yeah, and this board is going to be amazing once we get the Alps in it. So, cannot wait. So, just getting our little stabilizer clips in here. That's going to make life a little bit easier. Putting our little clips in here. Just makes life a little bit easier when we're ready to put in our stabilizers. All right. 2 more clips and we'll put our spacebar posts here. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. There we go, friends. And then we're going to put in these little posts here. These are going to be for just to kind of keep our space bars aligned, which will be really nice. So we'll get those pushed down. Cool. There we go, friends. Awesome. Look at that. So there we go. So let's get our PCB. So this PCB actually had to be custom made. Careless had to make some adjustments to this PCB because some of the, especially with this cable, the pinout is a little bit different compared to like your standard PCB. One thing about this, if you do have a Hippo and you're interested in converting yours to Alps, Careless is only doing a limited run of these PCBs. He only made 20 of them. I bought 2 of them, so I don't know how many are left. So if you do have a Hippo and you want to make it Alps, definitely get one of these PCBs from Careless. So, all right. So we're going to get 4 switches just to put in the corners, just to kind of hold everything down. Once that's held down, then we'll just solder everything else in place. So that's what we're doing. So let's get these going. All right. Perfect. Now let's line this up. Cool. Let's fire at my soldering iron. Oops. And we'll get our solder lead going. So let's get going. All right, let's go. Get that soldering iron fired up. Cool. Let's get our little vent here going. All right, let's go, everybody. Get that vent fired up. Cool. Awesome. Looking good. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Let's just turn that off. Let's kind of see how this comes out. So that looks really good. Awesome. Look at that. All right, we're basically going to use all these switches. So this has 80. I have about 84 of these, and we are going to be using all 84. So let's get these in. Cool. Looking good, so. Oh God, maybe. I don't know. That'd be cool. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that level of poor life choices, to be completely honest. Although I'm all for poor life choices. I make them every day. So, yeah, we're getting these puppies in. Just going to do our home cluster. And our nav cluster, so. Man, look at that, friends. Yeah, these switches are going to be perfect for this board, and same with these keycaps. Awesome. So there we go, friends. So we have SKCL linears, which are going to be really cool. So that's going to be super sick. So let's get these soldered in, and then we'll kind of move on to our F row assembly, and then also just kind of the rest of the board. So let's turn this on. We'll start getting some stuff in. So let's do our space bar right here. Cool. That one's looking good. A little more on that one. Cool. Let's move over here to this one. Cool. Getting our bottom row going. Yeah, this is overall a really cool project, and as soon as I saw this board last year and heard about it, I mean earlier this year, I knew I wanted it, and I'm very thankful to be able to own one of these awesome keyboards. Again, there's not a lot of these particular keyboards out there right now. There's only 120 of them. Jacky is hoping to sell more of these. He, on his Discord server, he kind of posted, he's kind of gauging interest on whether or not people will kind of be in favor of another run of these. So it may be a while, but if this is a board you really want, just kind of stay patient and just join Jacky's Discord server, and you should be able to get kind of more information as Jacky gets it ready, which would be really cool. But yeah, this is a really cool project. One thing about this board, when it was initially made, it was they wanted to do a low production number run because this board is very difficult for them to manufacture, especially with the CNC work it had to be done. So it was just kind of a pain in the butt for them to make this board. So that's why they didn't want to make a metric truckload of them. So that's why the very low production number. So there's only 120 of these boards. And I'll be completely honest, for what you get with this board retailed for like $450. So I mean, $450 is still $450, but like this board is very reasonable for what it is, which is pretty cool. So yeah, considering how massive and how chunky this board is, this was a great deal. Nice. It'll be nice having some linear Alps and a TKL, especially a TKL with a lot of internal volume, which will be nice. Cool. All right. Cool. All right, there's that one. Cool. All right, let's do the perimeter of these ones. All right. Ooh, nice. Now, finishing up the home cluster, which is looking pretty good. So, yeah, this board's coming together. This is a pretty cool one. Cool. Let's figure it out. Cool. Looking good, everybody. Cool. Awesome. We got our home cluster done. Let's do our modifiers right here. Looking pretty good. Cool. So those modifiers are good. We just got to do our modifiers over here. And then we'll be done with this kind of first wave of soldering. So this is a very straightforward build. Cool. Let's get these. All right. I think we're done with soldering for that portion. I'm going to put this to the side because I got to get the USB connector out of the case. So, because we do need to actually use this to test the board. So, let me grab those. All right, let me get the correct bit because I think it's much smaller for this one. All right. So you gotta get this little daughter board out. It's just gonna make life a little bit easier when we get to testing everything. Because I'm not gonna do final assembly into the case until I know everything is good to go. So, yeah. All right, there's our little daughter board. Perfect. Get the daughter board cable out and let's plug this puppy in so we can test everything. So there we go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. If I do say so myself, look at that. That's looking really good so far. So nice. All right, let's get this unplugged. Let's plug this in. There we go. And also here in Southern California, it's like pouring rain outside my window, so you can hear it. Maybe you can maybe the microphone picks up the rain. We'll see. All right, let's go into Vial and let's kind of see how everything is programmed in this PCB, making sure we're looking pretty good. There we go. So yeah, we want to make sure the F-row is programmed all funny. So let's get that programmed correctly. All right, that's looking good. Those are all looking good. Just make sure my layers look good. Layers look really good. Perfect. Let's go to our layout. Is there any lighting on this? No, thank God. Okay, cool. All right, let's go to our matrix tester and let's do some testing of our switches so far. So. These are really good switches, so I know we're not going to have any issues. Those all work, so we're going to put in our F-row and do that. And then we'll put in, once the F-row is soldered in, we'll put in the rest of the switches. So let's just get these ones in. Cool. Just going to insert all the switches. So be able to see all these switches in their glory. So these are linear Cream Alps. These are a little bit later in the Alps production, but these came off. These are kind of like a unicorn Alps set. These switches were really, really clean and really good condition. I got them off of Careless, and they're just amazing. So these switches were so clean, we really didn't have to do any restoration other than cleaning up the pins, which is really lucky and really nice. So we're just putting all our switches in. All right, this is looking pretty good. I don't know. There we go, folks. Just got one SKCL Cream left. There we go. There's our PCB. All of our switches are inserted. So we have 83 switches in this board. So we're Win keyless, so we're not putting any Windows key, and we're not putting a slash key because we're going with a big ass enter on this board. So, oops, sorry about that. So there we go. That looks just awesome. Yeah, these are really cool switches, and they're pretty rare for what they are. So it'll be nice to have. And I don't have a modern TKL with linear Alps, so this is going to be a really nice build and come out really good. So we're really excited for how this one's coming out. I know. Let's get it going, everybody. All right, cool. Let's flip it over, and we'll get these. We'll get this F-row soldered in. Man, my eyes being a little weird today. All good, everybody. All good. So, all right, let's get our F-row going, and we'll get it going. Give me a second. What does Discord want? Ooh, they posted something. Give me a second. I am okay. Don't need any more of those. Alright, let's get this one going. Let's get our F-row. Cool. Looks good. Let's get this one. Looking good. Awesome. Looking good. Oh yeah, A++. A++ is it. It's already posted online. You can check the online thingy. A++. Alright. Nice. That's looking good. Now we're just making sure we have clean connection between all these switches. So just making sure everything is solidly in here. Yeah, the F-row takes a little bit because the holes are a little more complex. Nice. Nice. Looking good, everybody. A++. Alright. Nope. Come on, people. Come on. Just making sure those connections are nice and solid. Perfect. Perfect. Making sure. Oh. Alright. Cool. Good. Oh my god. Streaming in the middle of that would not be a good idea. I'm all for poor life choices, but I don't know if I want to do that kind of poor life choice. Maybe on the last day. That'd be cool. Why not? Alright. Just making sure contact is good. We're looking good so far. And this is a relatively quick build today. So good times. Almost done with the F row. Good times. Almost there. Awesome. Yeah, 2 more on the F row, then the remaining switches are pretty easy to do. Alright, got it, got it. Okay, cool. Got it. So it should be fun, everybody. Last one on the F row. Alright. Awesome. Sweet. Alright, we're gonna just test. Yeah, so I mean this soldering tip is like 1,000 degrees. So that's why I got myself pretty good the other night on my knuckle. So yeah, that's fine. So yeah, you just gotta be careful. So yeah, soldering is definitely be careful. That's the only thing I say with soldering. I mean it's fun tinkering around with electronics, but like especially when you start working on electronics, you just gotta learn how to solder and do it safely. So all right. Nice. Cool. All right, I want to plug this in really quick and just test that F row. These switches are really good, in really good condition, so shouldn't have any issues, but I also have replacement parts and ways to fix them, so it should be. Oh yeah, I should be fine. All right, so let's get it going. Let's get that switch tester open and we'll get it going, everybody. So, all right, yeah. So, all right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. All right, here we go. So, got our matrix tester. I want to just test my FRO, and we should be pretty good. That's looking good. Awesome, awesome. Perfect. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right, cool. Everything is good, so we're gonna solder in the rest of them. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I mean, I just tell people, trust me, I've gotten enough nicks on my hands from doing soldering. I just tell people, like, if you want to get into like any type of like hobbyist electronics or like working with keyboards, like computers or like fixing stuff, definitely want to learn how to solder, but just learn how to do it safely. Like, one thing with solder is you can see like a lot of smoke comes out. So I have one of these little things. It just sucks up the fumes from the solder. That stuff you don't want to be breathing in. So just have like the proper just like the proper setup, the proper equipment, and just use proper safety precautions. Usually, it's a pretty safe task to do. I've just burnt myself a couple of times over the couple of years I've been doing this because yeah, sometimes I'm not as careful as I should be. So it's all good. But yeah, no, it's a fun time. Soldering is also just a really good skill. I mean, being able to like fix electronics or if something you own breaks, it's just definitely a good skill to have. So, and it's pretty easy to learn. There's a lot of really good YouTube stuff out there. People doing good soldering stuff. So, and again, I'm very amateur. I mean, I broke a keyboard the other day for a client, and I had to take it to a professional to actually get resoldered. So, definitely fun times. Okay, let's just solder that one in. We'll go about halfway. And again, this is a board from my personal collection. So, this is not a client build. Cool. Making sure those contacts are good. Awesome. Alright, let's... Cool. Awesome. Got those in. So let's connect this one. Nice. Alright, it's all good, all good. Thanks for popping in, folks. It's always a good time. So it's nice when people pop in. It's always really cool, everybody. Again, VOD will be up on YouTube later tonight. So it's always fun. So we're just kind of taking our time going through this. Making sure we have proper contact for everything. Nice. Getting that one. Cool. All right. Awesome. We're just kind of going through, making all of our contacts go. Cool, got that row going. Cool. Alright, let's do this next row. Alright, cool. Welcome, friends. Coming along. Alright. Yep. Let's get a little more on that one. There we go. I think we're good there. Awesome. Cool. Almost there. Yeah, making some good progress on this alpha cluster. So cool. All right. All right, folks, we're about halfway done with our alpha cluster. Cool. Cool. Just kind of scoot this over. Get my vent going right here. And do the final portion of this. Just kind of take our time as we solder. Cool. These are looking good, folks. Just kind of minimize that really quick. Just want to check my... Cool. Just clean up my solder tip really quick. We have a few more pins to go, and then we should be done with soldering on this one. So this is a very simple, very straightforward build tonight. Give me a second. So I'm going to wipe all that stuff off. Cool. It's looking good. That one a little bit, and I think we'll be good. Cool. I think that is awesome. Let's put that to the side. We're done soldering. We're going to test the alpha cluster, and then I think we should be good to move on to putting on our stabilized keycaps. So there's our assembly, folks. So let me get our daughter board hooked up. And we'll plug it into a USB port. There we go. All right, let's see what we got. All right, well, let's go to our matrix tester and let's do our alpha. These are very good switches, so we shouldn't have any issues. All right, just testing everything. That's looking good. Awesome, there we go. So everything works, so we are good to start putting on our stabilizers and lubing stabs. So that is awesome. So, all right. Let's flip that over and we'll just take a look at this assembly, folks, and just kind of talk about these switches. So these are linear Alps. So these are called Alps SKCL Cream switches. So these have a 70-gram spring weight, which is really cool. And these switches originally are from the 1990s. And they are from a Bondwell Pro 8T laptop. So, which is really cool. So these are really clean switches. I got these off of Careless for a really good price, and they were in immaculate condition. I didn't even have to ultrasonic or deep clean these switches. All I really had to do was just straighten out the pins and clean up the old solder off the pins. But these switches were immaculate. They're very smooth. They found really nice. So it's a laptop. Oh yeah, dude, the old laptops from like the 80s and 90s, like Brown Alps come from an IBM laptop, the IBM 5140. So yeah, no, there are some laptops from like the late 80s and like the 1990s that some of them came with like proper mechanical switches, not like the crap that you get in laptops today. Like some of their laptops that had cherry switches, they had rubber domes, they had Alps. I don't think anything had rubber buckling springs, but like cherry Alps, rubber domes, other derivatives of mechanical switches. Like that's really cool. Dude, vintage laptops are cool. That's not my area of vintage tech that I'm really into, but I know there's a lot of people. There are quite a few people who within the vintage space who are into old like vintage laptops and just tinkering with them and messing around with them. So yeah, there we go, folks. So let me get my keycaps out. I'm gonna get my stab parts down here again. And I need to connect my little clips to the bottom of the keycaps. So let's get those out. So we're going FK 2001 again. FK 2001s are my favorite keycap set, at least for the vintage side. They're very accessible. They're really affordable, and they're just awesome. They're just a good key. They're double shot ABS, so they're pretty good quality. And yeah, they have really nice sharp legends, which is really good. I'm looking for my backspace. Where's my backspace? Where are you, BS? There we go. Cool. All right, let's put the rest of these back. And we'll start getting these on. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, but it's cool that these came out of a laptop. And the keycaps that came on that laptop, those are going to be going on one of my personal boards in the future. So be kind of on the lookout for that board as well once we get to it. So that'll be really sick when we get to that build. So awesome. Let's stick that right there. Perfect. All right, so we got our 5 keycaps. Let's figure out clips here. Let's find ones. It's always kind of, you guys just kind of test them, see which ones are, that's a little loose. I don't want that. Okay, let's do a little bit of adjustment to these. There we go. That's better. All right. Let's get a little bit adjustment there. Yeah, so we're just kind of compressing the domes a little bit. That'll make a little more pressure to have this grip. There we go. Let's do our space bar. We're going to need our big clips for this one. There we go. Flip those around. Okay, spacebar has it. Let's go to our big ass enter. Yeah, let's get a little more grip force on that. All right. That's going good. Let's get our backspace. Yeah, it's clipped in pretty good. Nice. And then our left shift, or right shift. That's loose, so it's not good. There you go. All right, okay, folks, let's put the stabilizer parts away. All right. All right, there we go. Cool. All right, we're done with stabilizer parts. So that's really good. All right, so let's get out our 205G0. We have our stabilizer wires. We're going. All right, we only got 5 stabs to do today, so that's kind of nice. Not like we're doing a full size like we were doing last time. So we'll start off with our left shift. We'll kind of go from there. So let's get our. So my methodology with lubing Alps plate mount stabilizers is you just kind of want to lube where the wire is going to make contact. So I lube the clips right down here. So these clips right here, you want to add lube. And then once you've lubed the clips carefully, you want to lube the portion of the wire that's going to clip in onto the plate. So we'll add a little bit of lube right there, just on each side of each corner of the wire. And once we have the lube right there, we'll clip this wire in. Now once that wire is clipped in, we'll let it kind of stand vertically. And then we'll move over to the clips on the keycap. So on this part of the keycap, we'll go under the clips and we'll add lubricant to where those inside of those clips are. So and you can be pretty generous with the lube here, folks. Not topper where you don't want to over lube. But once we have all that lubricant, and once we have these clips lubed in, there'll be one last point of contact we'll add lubricant to. Cool. Is going to be the top portion of the wire that's going to clip into the bottom of the keycap. So it's really kind of 3 points of contact that I like to do. And then once you have that done, you'll clip in your keycap like so. You'll rotate it, and then you'll just push it into the push it in, and there you go. That is awesome. So pretty cool. All right, we're gonna do our big ass enter next. So let's grab our big ass enter wire. Our 2U wire, big ass enter. Big ass enter is my favorite keycap, and it also has the coolest name of any keycap because it's literally, that is officially its name, the big ass enter. So, because it is a big ass enter, it's very literal. So, again, we're adding lube to our clips right here. Then we will add lubricant to our wire. So, hey dude, big ass 3D keycap, big ass enter, it's just a great name, and it's a great keycap, and I have a bunch of the GMK big ass enters that I'll put on some of my Cherry MX sports from time to time. So, like on my Jelly Evolve is a big ass enter. My Rama, sorry, not my Rama. My MM Studio Class 80 has a big ass enter. So, yeah, I definitely try to put big ass enters on any build that I can because it's just, I love it. Because I hardly ever use the slash. I'm not really a programmer, so I don't really use it. So I don't miss it by having it taken away. And if I need it, I'll just layer it. So let's add lube right here. Okay, we're adding lubricant to this wire right here, and then we'll add lube to the clips. Cool. All right, we'll add lubricant to our clips. Yeah, this is a pretty quick build today, folks. This is not as involved as some of our vintage restorations or builds where we have like high failure rate of switches and we got to test them and then solder, desolder them and whatnot. So I knew all of these switches wouldn't have any issues. Now, these switches were in immaculate condition. Probably the best condition switches that I've harvested. But I also got them from Careless, and Careless made it very clear that like these switches are like unicorns in terms of their condition. So, all right. There's our big ass enter. So there we go, folks. There's our big ass enter. So awesome. And that clipped in pretty good. All right, let's do our backspace. So let's kind of move up here. All right. Let's get our backspace right there going. Cool. And then we'll get our 2U wire and we'll get that lubed up. Cool. Awesome. Get a little more lube on that wire. Cool. Now let's get our backspace. Yeah, no, I feel you. I think it's just muscle memory, what you're comfortable for. HHKB also, I mean, I use a wide variety of layouts in different keycap configurations. So, like, I don't have one particular, I have so many keyboards, I'm rotating through them so constantly. So I'm kind of just, I don't really learn the muscle memory for one particular layout or one particular, like, type of keyboard. So, but yeah, we'll be definitely Dynacap's launching next week, which is going to be awesome. Because I have a Han H2H I've been waiting for months to build and waiting for Dynacap. So I'll definitely be picking up a couple Dynacap kits on launch day. So I'll definitely, Omnitype's going to be getting a lot of my money next week. And once all those parts come in, when I have the PCB for the board, we're definitely going to build that on stream. So definitely, and I specialize in Alps, but I will show Cherry MX and Taupe Ray love here too. So, I mean, we have a couple cool Cherry MX builds that we're gonna do. I have a Class 65 that came in from MM Studio, which is super sick, and I also have the Diversity TKL coming in. That's also shipped. So we'll definitely be building those in the next couple of weeks. So, and we have a bunch of restorations, and we got some client stuff coming up. So a lot of cool stuff. Ah, those sound great. All right, cool. Let's do our right shift, and then we're ready for our space bar. So it's looking pretty good. Cool. Cool. All right. Cool. All right. Oops. Put the clips in the wrong orientation. Oops. All right, let's pull those out. Put the clips in the wrong spot. It's okay. Let me just wipe them off really quick. All right. Got to put those clips on the inner ones. It's all good. All good. All right, we're good. Back to business. All right, let's put lube back on this wire. Cool. Awesome. Cool. And then this one. Cool. All right, let's clip that in. Just wipe off a little bit excess right here. So, all right. All right, now the almighty spacebar. So, good times. Let's lube up these little stabilizing posts here. Cool. And then awesome. Let's get our wire over here. Let's do a little bit of lubing in our clips here. All right, almost done, folks. Yeah, we're making a really good time today for this being an Alps build, so this is a very straightforward build today, which is kind of how I expected it. Like I said, if you want to see a more in-depth build with this board, like definitely check out when we did the Cherry MX build. The VOD is on YouTube, folks, so. Cool. Now, let's get our wire lubed up. All right. Perfect. Oh, dude, it's going to be amazing, Blue Keebs. I can't wait, my dude. It's going to be so sick. Yeah, we're almost done with this one. This is a very simple build, my man. Like, these SKCL creams that I got from Careless are, like, super, super clean. I tested them all, and I didn't have any dead switch plates, but I kind of knew that already because, like, these have been in, like, these were in, like, immaculate condition. Like, Careless told me when I bought them from him, like, they don't need to be ultrasonic cleaned or anything. Like, literally the only thing I did to these switches is when I desoldered them, I filed off and cleaned up the pins and straightened them out. But in terms of, like, my usual, like, restoration, like, lubing and ultrasonic cleaning process, these switches did not need it. So, yeah, these are a mat. And Carol's basically said, like, this set of SKCL creams from the Bonwell Pro 8T he gave me, like, he sold me, like, they're basically unicorns in terms of their condition. So, I got a really, Carol's gave these, sold this to me at a really good price. So, all right, let's put my 205G0 away, and we'll put on our keycaps now. So let's put this tool away. I'm pretty much done with a lot of our tools, basically. I mean, Fred, we're basically done, realistically. This is a very simple build, everybody. Nothing really to it. There wasn't a lot of intricacy and, like, stuff that we had to troubleshoot, so that's kind of nice. Oh yeah, dude, these are amazing. Well, I mean, these SKCL creams were later in Alps production, surprisingly. These were made in, like, the early 90s. So this is definitely one of the later linears. So, because they have the short white switch plates on these. So, all right, let's get our keycaps out. Let's put them on. Because I really don't want to push keycaps. I want to put the keycaps on outside of the case because just the way this is when I'm going to do it. This only has one mounting style, so it's a kind of a hybrid between a silicone gasket and a top mount. So yeah. So these SKCL creams have short white switch plates. So these are actually a much later production switch by Alps in terms of Alps' history. So which I think is pretty cool. And of course, Blue Keeps, we are going with my favorite Alps keycap set, FK 2001. Of course, y'all should know by this by now. That's the way we roll. So, but yeah, this is they're heavier than SKCL yellows. SKCL yellows are 60 gram spring weight, and again, I'll ship those SKCL yellows to you again probably after Thanksgiving. So probably when we get in December, I'll figure out coordinate with you to ship those your way and see if you can be more successful than I was. So. All right, let's put our scroll lock. Let's not using that one, not using that one. Just kind of chucking ones we're not using. Pause goes up here. Yeah, I'm going with the gasket mount on this one. I don't know. That's what I like, to be completely honest. So, yeah, that's how I had this board built when I built it with Cherry MX. I'm going the gasket one, to be completely honest. That's how I had it built with Cherry MX, and I really liked it that way. So I think I'm going to keep that. If I absolutely hate it, heck, I'll just swap it to proper top mount. But yeah. Insert. So yeah, we're just putting on our keycaps, getting everything going. But yeah, these keycaps sounded really cool. I used to have these switches in my Frog Mini Passante, but my Passante, I have bigger and better plans for it. So these switches have been kind of out at home, but when I had these in the Passante, they sounded really friggin' awesome. So cannot wait. Yeah. All right, not using num lock. There's no number. Got our page up. Semicolon. Not using our numpad keys. All right. Yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah, this is coming in pretty good. Oops. Put some keycaps over too far. Give me a minute. Didn't make any room for my letter B. I don't know. There we go, folks. All right. There's our print screen. Let's get our 0, 2. Let's get our home button. Home clusters there, looking good. Yeah, it's looking really good. Press F to pay respects, everybody. We just put F in. There we go. Look at that. Tilde. Got our F row almost there. Now we're not using page down. We got our letter Z, our T, our... You know, this is a really clean set, so... Not too yellowed, if I do say so myself. So this is a really nice set. Oh, that would help. Put this key in the wrong spot. Goes right there. Bro. And then there we go, friends. All right, let's put these keycaps back, because basically just not using the numpad on this one. Cool. All right. Pretty much done with our assembly. So let's take a look at this. And then we'll just basically start putting this puppy back in the board. But yeah, that looks pretty good, folks. So there we go. So there is our assembly. So we have Alps SKCL Cream linear switches. And then we have FK 2001 switches. And again, I have the beige Hippo TKL, so this FK 2001 set's going to go great, and it's very clean, fully restored keycap set, so pretty much no yellowing on this set, so that looks really nice. But this assembly sounds really good. I mean, I know how these switches sound. So those are going to sound really clean, really nice. Let's get the top case. As Blue Cubes was saying, like, this thing is just a freaking absolute unit. It's crazy. This board is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I definitely love this thing. So, I'm very happy to have one. One thing about this, this was a very small group buy. Jacky only sold about 120 of these. Now, the interesting thing, a lot of people have been asking, would Jacky make more of these? And for a long time, my stance on it was no, I don't think Jacky would. Earlier this year, Jacky was dealing with some health issues. He was pretty transparent about those health issues on his Discord. And when the original group buy of these boards got ready for fulfillment, one of Jacky's good friends actually handled the final step in terms of shipping and fulfilling to customers. Because Jacky just wasn't in a position to do it. And that was kind of my stance on it. I didn't think Jacky would ever run this board again. He was also very clear before his health issues that this was a very difficult board to run, specifically because of just how difficult it was to manufacture. But John, recently we've had some good news for those of you who may want one of these Hippo TKLs. Jacky's thinking of doing a... yeah, I know that one. That's pretty crazy. But Jacky's thinking of doing an R2 of this board, which I think is going to be really cool. So Jacky's been kind of gauging interest. I think a polycarbonate one and a couple of other ones. So that's one thing that's going to be really, really cool is we potentially will have an R2 of this board. I don't know when it's going to happen because Jacky's working on his like standalone number pad. So I'm really hoping. I personally prefer my metal boards. I like plastic for my vintage Alps stuff, but like when it comes to like my modern keyboards, I'm just a sucker for metal boards. Even though the polycarbonate is really freaking sick and really cool, it's just like for me, I like boards like this. I want them in metal. So that's just kind of my personal preference. But I mean, heck, if Jacky does run the polycarbonate one and maybe additional aluminum versions, that'd be really cool because I know there's a lot of people out there who missed this group buy or after the fact realize, oh man, I should have jumped on the Hippo. So that's just the kind of cool thing. So let's put these silicone gaskets in, and then we'll start screwing this assembly in. So yeah, let's put these in. So yeah, it is like pouring rain here in Los Angeles. We've gotten some good storms that we definitely need here. So I can hear, I don't know if my microphone's picking up all the rain. So yeah, it's definitely been getting rain that we're definitely not used to here in LA. So and we're a week out from Thanksgiving, which is really nice. So that's pretty good. So I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving next week. So that'll be cool. So good times, everybody. There we go. Got that in. Perfect. And then let's drop our assembly in and let's start putting our mounting brackets on. Let's just line up everything. Awesome. Going good. So let's get one of them on. Let's get a couple of them. Drop down. Let's get a couple of these. Cool. Let's get some screws. Let's get we should be good. Let's get that one. All right. Cool. So we're just getting these in here. But yeah, this is really good. This is going to be so good. put the rest of our little brackets on here. Yeah, but also too, like this board is just ridiculously overbuilt and robust, so it's really sick. This is a sick board. All right, almost there, folks. Got a couple more screws, and then we'll plug in our daughter board connector, and then we should be good. There we go. All right, cool. There we go, folks. Oh, that looks so sick. Look at that. Oh, one of my keycaps came off. Oops, where'd it go? Did I put a page down on it? Wow. I don't think I put a page down. Give me a second. Bruh. Forgot a keycap. Bro. Figure out where that keycap went. There we go. Never put it on there. There we go. Oh, it's so clean. That looks so good. That FK, the beige of the FK 2000. I mean, I got the beige one. I knew I needed a beige set, and I want to put my favorite beige set on it. So, there we go. Now it looks proper. Yeah. We just, like, get some of these scuffs off and whatnot. Yeah, so this board is super sick, so let's just, yeah, this came out really clean. So, yeah, that's just, I'm not going to do the Piglet. I have the High Ton, I have the Piggy. I don't need a standalone numpad. If Jacky ever ran a full size, hell yeah, I'd do that. But, like, I'm like, I don't want to just standalone numpad. It's cool, but, like, I really don't need a numpad or a macro pad. It's not for me, so, but hey, if you want to get a Piglet, go for it. It's a cool project. Anything Jacky I support, so I'm just not doing that project. So hopefully his next project that he does will be really cool, so. And then there's our JST, folks. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our bottom case, put that on, and then we'll be good to get on. We'll be good to do some sound tests. So let's fix this. There we go. Let's close her up. Let's get this case closed up, and we'll put our rubber feet on. And yeah, that was actually probably record time for an Alps build, to be completely honest. Normally they're like 2.5, 3 hour streams, but yeah, Blue Keebs, it is a numpad. So Jacky's running a numpad. I think he's targeting like 170, 180 bucks for that one. So it's cool. It's just, I don't need one. Oh, dude, yeah, I don't think it would be feasible for Jacky, considering how much of a pain in the butt this board was for Jacky. I don't think he'd do a full size anytime soon. And I didn't know his factory couldn't handle a full size. So I imagine if Jacky where to kind of research the logistics and see if there was enough interest for a full size with his big bezel design, it would be like freaking ridiculous. It'd probably take up my whole camera area, like if Jacky did a full size, but he would probably have to outsource it or do a ridiculous investment in new tooling to handle it, which I think it would probably be cheaper just to outsource the manufacturing to like someone else in China. So I don't know. It would be cool if Jacky ever did a full size, because like I want an elephant, but like the elephants are ridiculous money in the aftermarket. Like they're like aftermarket Kohaku prices, which is ridiculous. I'm not paying that. But I have a High Ton. I have my Piggy, my Piggy 60. I don't want to get it because it's buried in the display. So let me put my rubber feet on this puppy, and then we'll be good to do some sound test. Oh my god, dude. A full copper Jacky full size would be absolutely insane. And would probably, I don't want to even think about how much money it would cost, because it'd be a lot of monies, which I don't have. So, yeah. Alright. Let's make sure that these are in the right orientation. Perfect. Cool. Awesome. All right, folks, let's put this over here. Dude, 26 pounds? What the frig, man? That's insane. Yeah, definitely check it out, Blue Keeps. It's on his Discord, and it should be on his website for his numpad. It's adorable. It's cool. It's a Jacky design. So here we go, folks. There we go. That is... Oh, there's a little murky mark I want to get off here. There we go. Let's wipe this puppy off. This thing's been sitting in my shelf unbuilt for weeks in anticipation of this conversion. I tore apart my Cherry MX build in this like weeks ago. So as soon as I found out Careless was doing this project, this thing got Cherry MX got removed from this board. So here we go. Let's wipe her off. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. This is a desk bender right here. All right, let's do a comparison of this thing next to the height ton, because it's just kind of crazy. I'll grab the Piggy too, so y'all can just kind of see. We'll get a comparison of Jacky board. We'll do a showcase of Jacky boards. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's Jacky, dude. Jacky's go big or go home. Let me go grab the Piggy. Let me grab it. So, there we go. All right, here's the Piggy. Kind of put the Piggy over here too. Switch over in this. There is that. Winked. All right, here we go, friends. So here's my Piggy. So there's the Piggy, and there's the high ton. So we got the Piggy 60. So these are both built Cherry MX. You know what's funny? Both of these boards could be converted to Alps. I really don't want to convert them to Alps. I like them as... Oh, dude, Hamon was the only set that could go on the Piggy. And I got the Bacon Artisan. Only set that could go on this board. So this is built with HMX Pink Pig, also for the pig theme. This is the high ton this is the high ton 40. And then again, this is built with GMK DMG and Gateron WS plus switches. So I mean, they sound like Cherry MX. So yeah, I'll put these to the side. But yeah, I have those. That's my Jacky trifecta, which is kind of crazy. So. Yeah, this is the chonker I want to see. So, yeah, because I have a project. I want to get this one custom Cerakote, and I have a crazy Cerakote idea for this board in the future. But it'll be really expensive, so I'm not in a rush to do that. But this is cool. All right, folks, here we go. So yeah, let's get the Piggy. I mean the Hippo going. But you can see how just ridiculously massive this board is. It's awesome. I love it. Dude, a 40% Alps. Well, here's my problem. Like, it's just keycaps. Like, that's my problem with this board. Like, the PCB supports Alps, so there are the Alps cutouts on the PCB for this. My issue is I don't want to put DCS on this board, and DCS really realistically, because I'm very anal about the side profile. I want correct keycaps on my 40s. I'm very anal how I build my 40%. And there's just no good keycap set for me to utilize for a 40% with Alps. And I'm not doing some weird keycap combination that's a hodgepodge of stuff. I want a proper keycap set. So my 40s are all basically staying Topre or Cherry MX. So this one won't get converted. But the Piggy, I definitely would be interested in converting to... yeah, I want true 40% keycaps, not a hodgepodge, like putting my shifts as my space bars. I'm not doing that crap. But the Piggy, I'm interested in potentially converting to Alps in the future. But for right now, I'm gonna keep it the way it is. But yeah, let's enough talking, enough BSing. Let's do a sound test. Let's see how this puppy sounds and whatnot. But I'm really excited for this board. I'm definitely taking this to work. I'm definitely taking this to work tomorrow. So let's see how it goes. Give me a second. I want to see if my Instagram chat has said anything. No, they're chilling. Awesome. All right, cool. All right, let me fire at monkey type. Let me do a session of monkey type. You guys can see my horribly slow typing. So Let me just get that. Let me get this puppy plugged in. There we go. All right, let's do a session of monkey type. All right, here we go. All right, you can see also I'm a terribly slow typist. I average like 40 to 50 words a minute, so I'm horrible, but it's ironic because I'm into keyboards, but whatever. Oh, I have my caps lock on. That would help. Let's restart this. Bruh, okay. Eh. 47 words a minute, guys. Oh, dude, I'm a horrible typist. It's a really nice, pleasant sound. I really like it. But like I said, I'm a terrible typist. Like, I mean, hey, I got through college. I got through undergrad and grad school. Okay, with my terrible typing skills, so it's okay. It all works out. I do want to do another test on Vile really quick, and also Via. I just want to just recheck the switches just for my sanity. I know these switches work, and I know they're verified and everything, but yeah, this looks really cool. And the FK 2001 set just slaps on this board. I think it's really, really clean. So let's go to my matrix tester. That looks good. Let's do our F row. Cool. All right, that sounds good. I want to just double check VIA really quick, and then we should be good to go in terms of just testing and verifying everything. So there we go. I just want to retest everything. I don't know. To be completely honest, I am not the keeper of that knowledge, unfortunately. I can barely keep my own affairs together. Alright, going good so far. Yeah, we're just verifying everything. Good, 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 good. That's good. Alright. So far, so good in terms of our verification of everything. Just want to make sure it looks all good. But yeah, this sounds really pleasant. And also I have my green Alps board, which I'll pull out in a second. We also compare how the sounds to like tactile and also a clicky build. So we'll pull out some boards and kind of test it. We made some really good time. So I want to spend a couple of minutes and just compare this to other boards. Hold up. Yeah, that's looking good. All right, so that looks pretty good. So let me move the other Jacky boards out of the way. And we'll kind of compare this to some of my other modern Alps builds and also to some vintage stuff too. So let's get some, let's keep this one out, put the Jacky boards away. So I'll grab my other, so I'll compare it to my other linear build here. So this is my Frog Mini Ligera with green linear Alps, which are pretty cool. So let me just do a little bit, so these are PVT. These are ABS keycaps, so just kind of take that into consideration. Both have aluminum plates. This is, mind you, trade mount. This is, again, gasket mounted, so. So that's one of the builds. Let's compare it to. So here's the tactile version of these switches. So these are the linear creams. These are going to be your SKCM creams undampened. They're tactile. These are actually, this is the switch Careless put in his Hippo TKL that he showcased. So. So, there's that one. Let's compare this board to a clicky build. So we have our, this is my JO2 with white clicky Alps, pine whites. So. We can also compare it to another TKL that's more tactile. So this is the Baron BP1 that we did the other night, which is really cool. So this has orange Alps. And this has DCS white on black keycaps. And then I can also get out the some blue Alps we can compare it to, and also brown Alps. So let me grab the blue Alps board and the brown Alps board. So here's the the brown Alps, and we also have the blue Alps board. Let me put the BP1 to the side and the Apple board to the side, and then we can also compare it to like what the vintage boards sound like. Because vintage boards definitely are a more distinct sound compared to the modern builds. So also, let me just give this to Hippo some kind of perspective on just how massive this board is. So this is Hippo, this is TKL. This is basically a full size. This is the ETAR 87 prototype, and it's basically the same width, which just kind of gives you an idea of just kind of how crazy, just crazy big this board is. So this is the Brown Alps ETAR 87. So this is what we built on Monday. So this is my review board we have. So these are brown Alps. Yeah, so those are brown Alps. Let's compare it to my all-time favorite blue Alps. These are my go-to. And also, the Geon F18X is a big, hunky, hefty TKL, and it's like so much smaller. This is my personal Geon F18X. Love this board. So. Yeah, that's really cool. So let's get out a couple of the vintage boards. Let's get out the AEK. I think that's the most resonant sounding full size we got. And also we can just kind of do size comparison. So this is an AEK. So we got the Hippo up here. This is the AEK, and it's like the AEK is not much bigger than the Hippo, which is crazy. So this is orange Alps and like a proper vintage chassis that's been fully restored. Oh yeah, dude, my SGI keycaps on my F18X are like absolutely sick. So yeah, we got the AEK. Let's grab the Blue Alps Omni-Key. So we'll get a couple of the Omni-Keys out. Actually, we'll get the FK. Get a couple of them. And we'll grab the FK 2001. So got an FK 2001 here, and we got my favorite of my vintage collection, the Northgate Omni-Key 102 Gold Badge. So this is a vintage board, and it sounds amazing. So I love this board. This is my favorite of my vintage collection. This is my crown jewel. I love this board. So Oh, so good. Like, that is my best sounding Alps board without question for me. So that's the blue Alps Omni key. Pull that one to the side. And then we got my FK 2001. So this will be our vintage board with white Alps. Also blue keys. Yeah, so what's nice about the Hippo, there's a lot of internal volume. Alps benefit from internal volume. So they, so like again, like my tray mount, I love my modern builds. Like, don't get me wrong. But in terms of sound, there's a lot to be desired with modern Alps builds. I think what the appealing part of modern Alps builds is going to be the feel. They kind of sound whatever. Again, Alps sound the best in vintage plastic chassis that have a lot of internal space and internal volume. I think that's where Alps really shine. But like cases like the Hippo or like the JO2 that have internal case volume, they really kind of help for a modern board bring out the sound. That's just the thing I've kind of learned. Again, I love my modern builds; they're awesome. But I really like them for the feel more so than the sound. Whereas with the vintage builds, I kind of get the best of both worlds. I get a great feel, but I also get a great sound out of them. So this is my FK 2001. Also blue keys. You're asking where the cable went? I took the cable out I display this board a lot. And the cable's in my drawer. So if I really want to use it, I'll put the cable back in. But for display purposes right now, I have so many boards on hand. I needed the cable somewhere more convenient. So that's where the cable went. So it's not broken. It's just, yeah. Yeah, I took the cable out. So it's just for display purposes right now. I just had the cable hanging off the display board. I'm like, I'll just take it off. So I know it's a pain in the butt to open this thing up. I won't snap the clips though, because I'm not making that mistake again. But here are pine white Alps in a vintage case. And then this is going to be the Hippo. Yeah. Oh no, there's a scuff on my FK 2001. No. Give me a second. I don't like scuffs. I cleaned this. Alright, it's all clean again. There we go. Oh no, there's another one. Bro, how did these scuffs get on my boards, bro? I like them all clean and pretty. Yeah, I'll get the magic eraser on it later, but yeah, there we go, friends. So I think that's a good kind of comparison of the Hippo versus like some of my other modern builds and again some of my vintage builds. I think it's really good. I think I'll bring out one more. It's just doesn't have a lot of internal case volume, but still sounds pretty good. Like this is my Apple 2GS case keyboard. This has orange Alps. This is a fully restored board. This one also does, for a vintage board, there's pretty much no internal case volume. This is basically a tray mount like my Frog Mini Ligera, for lack of a better term. So this does not sound as resonant as like the AEK or like my M0116. Like I'll get the M0116 out with orange Alps, and again, this is way more resonant versus this. So yeah, but yeah, I think that's a good kind of comparison. I think good stopping point for this one, folks. This was a pretty short stream. I think that's probably the shortest I've ever done an Alps build on stream. But this one came out absolutely awesome. So I love this build. I'm super happy. Yeah, it's basically, for lack of a better term, like this is like a tray mount before tray mount was 30 years before tray mount was a thing. This is a cool board. I love it, but it is not the best sounding vintage Alps board, especially for vintage Apple stuff. So, because vintage Apple boards sound awesome. So, but yeah, there we go, folks. I think we're going to end it there. Those of you who kind of popped in at different points of the stream, thank you so much. I'll kind of figure out a streaming calendar for next week. I know it's Thanksgiving, so I'll probably only be doing streams maybe like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then pretty much the rest of the week I got family stuff going on. But I'll definitely kind of get set up for streams for those. But we'll definitely be doing some Cherry MX stuff. We're definitely going to do the Class 65 before Tuesday. I also have a client Alps build for an international client that we'll probably be doing this weekend. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'll just kind of get those scheduled. But thank you so much, everybody. The VOD will be up on YouTube later this evening. Have a great evening, everybody.